Alright, this will be the Dark Zero versus TSM game on Bank. So, just going over the bans. So, Hibana's taken out from Dark Zero. I think that's a little bit of a counterban onto Bolo, because as well as onto the overall team of TSM, because Bolo, at least from what I saw in a few play days of Bank from TSM, is he does run Hibana a good amount along with Zofia. So taking out one of them can kind of throw off TSM if they don't have anyone who's really comfortable on Maverick, which can really help on a basement defense. Then Monty's being banned from TSM. Uh, I'm not. I'm kind of. I'm not 100% sure about that. Now, Dark Zero is a team that would just run the most random strats in the world. I mean, when they were flip side, they literally went to cash on the old clubhouse, and I mean they lost the majority of them, but trying to do something random isn't very strange for Dark Zero. So it wouldn't be strange for a shield to be coming out, as I believe Mint had an ace with Blitz, so they have a comfortable shield player, and TSM may just be saying we don't want to deal with that. Then they banned Mira. I think that just comes down to I'm not sure if anyone on TSM is comfortable playing Mira, or if they just don't want to deal with her, or if they just haven't really practiced enough strategies with her and against her to be comfortable. So they banned her, probably just they don't want to deal with her. And then Echo is banned from Dark Zero. So that really it's Echo. He gets banned a good amount, but it's really unsurprising now because there's an issue with the drones where I think they're invisible at this point, because I think Ubisoft tried to fix seeing a drone through the glass of a shield and somehow made it so the drones are invisible now. I mean, I don't know how they managed to do that, but they managed to do it. So with that, going in.
Enough, we saw so much Echo players there. I mean, if I was thinking it was going to happen there.
Now, basement defense coming out from Dark Zero. TSM, they're running the double hard breacher of Bio and Crusher on the Maverick and Thermite. You always need to have a double hard breacher for if you are attacking the basement, because you need to be able to open up the server wall right here, the hatch right here, normally the hatch right here, possibly the server hatch if it's reinforced and they are holding inside a server, as you don't want to have to just push down server stairs. Thank you, Norton, for the pop-up. I don't give a shit. So you can't just bring a Thermite or a Hibana or a Maverick to do all of that. You need to have a double hard breacher. As with a Hibana, I mean, you can get all three hatches, but you can't get the wall. With a Maverick, you can possibly get the wall and a hatch. With Thermite, you can get one hatch, one wall, or two hatches. So you really do need to have at least two. Well, not at least. You need to have two hard breachers if you want to be effective here. Then Achieved is on the Thatcher. So I don't understand this Thatcher pick a lot of the time, because with the Maverick in play, Cade is not going to be the most useful thing in the world. So, I mean, you bring Thatcher to get rid of Mute Jammers, Mute Jammers, Bandit Batteries, Cade, Electro Claws. So, but however, with the Maverick, none of those can really be in play, and it's really, most strategies for this map don't rely on you opening up walls except really for the basement. So you're never really going to have to be worried about getting rid of the bandits and the mute jammers as if this was border or border consulate down in the garage or clubhouse. So really, I don't like the Thatcher pick, because it really, to me, it seems like I feel like that's just a bit too much of a they're too worried about getting rid of the Cade charges, because on this site Cade is the biggest issue. So, and the Maverick should be able to do that without any issues. So I really don't see the use of the Cade pick. I mean, of the Thatcher pick, because I think it'd be better for them to be bringing either a better support operator like Capital, or say grenades like with a sledge or a buck. But I'm just not. I disagree with the Thatcher pick. I don't think it's the best thing, just because it's, if there's a Cade on the hatch, then send Maverick and the Cade's useless. So with Maverick in play, the Cade, the Mute, the Bandit, none of them are going to be as effective. Now, yes, it can still be a pain trying to get rid of them. However, most of these sites, I would say it's never, you never have to worry so much about getting rid of them that you require an entire operator to do it. Not that you'd require an operator, but you require two operators, as you would be using the Thatcher and the Maverick together. So I think that kind of limits what TSM can do when it comes to clearing out areas. If I remember, they struggled to, with this lineup before, I think they struggled to clear out server stairs. And that can be a big issue, as DZ, they're going to be doing VOD reviews of this. And TSM, they love Bank. But they've shown so much Bank over the past month or so that a lot of teams know what they're going to do on it. So I wish they had brought someone other than this Thatcher, and just someone who could help the team kind of with either more pushing power, really just more pushing power is what I would say, because TSM, I feel, can get stalled out relatively easily here, because the Thatcher, yes, you could get rid of the ADSs on server stairs. However, flashbangs can do that as well, and you don't have any grenades to help clear it, and it makes clearing server stairs a lot harder. And with that, so yeah, the double hard breacher of Bio and Crusher. Volo is on Zofia. Zofia, she's just a well-rounded operator. Nothing really special about her, but nothing really bad about her either. She's, I'd say, kind of like Buck, where she's a really well-rounded operator that can bring a lot to the team, and it just depends on how effective you are at her. And then Merc is on the Jackal. So Jackal just helps clear out the map. And if you go to staircases and you look for footprints, you'll know if anybody ran up, ran down, and it makes clearing a bit easier. It's not the hardest thing to clear out this map with just drones, because of how linear it is for the top floor and how much destruction there is. So you can make kill holes to watch rotates on the first floor, and then once you do that, you just have to make sure nobody flanks up the main stairs. Then, however, it is also useful that they're bringing smokes. However, I don't think they utilize them to the best, at least based on what I've seen so far. And I think it also could be that Merc is just comfortable on the Jackal. Jackal, I mean, he has a good gun, he has good utility, so some people may just be bringing him because they don't have a need for anything else, and due to that, they just say, okay, you want to just run Jackal. He has smokes. He can help track. He can help drone a little bit. He has some soft destruction. So overall, he's a well-rounded operator. And for DZ, so BC is on the Pulse, and I'm going to assume he's going to be sitting somewhere around here in order to look to see if somebody tries to plant right there, as your gadget can go through the wall. Then Hot and Cold is on Maestro. A lot of the times, teams will shotgun this open, creating a pixel peak angle through the bars for the Maestro to sit in garage. The one problem with that is you have to be wary about a flank through garage, and that's what a lot of teams, if a team can deal with that, they can hold pretty effectively. But if they struggle to hold the garage for a late push, then it can really hurt them, as they have to then worry about someone flanking from garage as they're trying to stop a plant going down an A. Then Mint is on Smoke. For this site, you really do need a good amount of denial for plants. So really, it's just, you need to be able to smoke. It really just comes down to time, where with your 2 nitro cells and your 3 smokes, can you stall out long enough that the plant cannot go down in the default spot? That's kind of what this site comes down to, where it's kind of a check. just to see, can you utilize your utility correctly? Because if you can't, you are going to struggle. Then Nyx is on Jaeger. That could be they're trying to hold server stairs, so they need Jaeger ADSs to help with that, and the Thatcher can get rid of them. However, once they've gotten rid of, there's not really much that's going to change. Yes, you can throw flashbangs and concussions in, but the flashbangs are normally they won't actually flash them if they're they won't actually flash them if they turn around in time. So it's really the flashbangs, I'd say, are kind of not the best way to clear out the server stairs. And then the Zofia charge, well, you can Zofia stun someone with a concussion, but if it's a mute or a smoke or just someone with a shotgun holding an angle, it doesn't matter if there's Zofia stun. They're waiting for you to push in, and they're going to win that fight. So this is why I really wanted. This is one reason I really want TSM to be running grenades. Is it really does help, in my opinion, for clearing out the server stairs. Then Hyper is on Valkyrie. It's another nitro cell for area denial, and it's a lot of information. So it really, I mean, it's Valkyrie. She's there for information. With that,
I think that's a possibility.
Going on to the setup.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking about? It's like the German Coast Guard. It's a wonderful ad, actually, for the German Coast Guard.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah. That was a good
Highly
one.
recommended. All right, so we start off here as we're kind of looking for the audio. Hyper will just start running around, setting up his black eyes. One in the back here.
Yep.
Now, one thing that's a little worrying about that Valkyrie cam that was just thrown is I don't think it's actually going to help if there's a late push through.
Black eyes. One in the back here.
Yep.
I'm not sure if this would actually help give information on a push coming through garage. Now, maybe it can look through the windows here and here to see if somebody's coming from over there. However, it's really, a lot of teams will go for late flanks through the garage. So it's something you have to be aware of and something you have to be able to get information on. So I'm not sure if this Valkyrie cam will do it. And if it does, then great. But if not, then I would say that it would be better to have the black eye in a position where it can see anybody coming into garage and give information on anybody in garage. Because that is one of the biggest, that's one kind of the biggest threats to kind of the basement hold, is somebody can walk in through garage and they can effectively just get one kill, possibly even two, and throw your entire defense out of sync. Because if you lose garage, then you can also lose the red hallway that leads into gold, because they can get an angle through the soft wall that was opened up for the Maestro playing inside of garage.
Gotta have one on the garage cam, of course.
There you go. Hello. It was so odd, like trying to listen in and talk about stuff where we can't hear anything.
You just gotta imagine.
So weird. Just making the
all the people who watched the stream muted didn't even notice.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
No comment.
Well, they wouldn't even hear you if you had one. Bolo gonna be approaching all on his lonesome from the street here. A little bit dangerous, but he might be looking to take the lobby. Now, of course, they're going to spread out and try and take the map as fast as they can so that they have extra time to try and push downstairs. There's going to be the Pulse as usual, but there's also going to be the Evil Eyes and the Black Eyes to provide a lot of intel. So between those three, it's going to be very difficult for them to get a plant down. They do.
So normally I don't like self-droning in. I think that it's better to really be... I think it's better to just always have someone droning yourself in, just because, I mean, if Bolo finds someone here, he's not going to be able to react to it. He's not going to get the kill. However, if somebody was droning Bolo in and Bolo was following up on the drone, that would be a different story. However, this isn't really something that you have to worry too much about. I think Bolo is more just here to check for people, while really, I think he would be surprised if anybody was actually here contesting, because a lot of teams don't roam anymore on the, well, not a lot of teams, but a good number of teams prefer to hard hold downstairs with all 5 bodies. And if they do roam, they're going to be roaming horizontally around the open area. So it's not very... it's not the worst thing that Bolo's self-droning in this situation. It's kind of just one of those you have to play it situation to situation. So
At least have the
it's
Thatchers
not
to be
something I
able to
can really
dispatch and
hate
disable
too
some of
much,
those. They can
but it's also something that you should be aware of, where you really shouldn't be droning yourself in a lot of the times.
disable the evil eyes temporarily, take out the black eyes, as well as temporarily disable the plant down. They do at least
And
have
look at Crush's
the Thatchers
position.
to be able to dispatch and disable some of those. They can disable the evil eyes temporarily, take out the black eyes, as well as temporarily disable the pulse sensor. So that will be useful if they keep some EMPs left when they go for a plant, because they can hit that smoke with the Jackal and then actually go for a plant. And at that point, DZ would be flying blind, temporarily at least. But instead they're using it to help push the stairs at the moment. And of course, there is going to be a shotgun on the stairs, because what else would you do? He's going to lose his sight temporarily, but you certainly don't need the red dot or the reflex for a shot. At the moment. And of course, there is going to be a shotgun on the stairs, because what else would you do? He's going to lose his sight temporarily, but you certainly don't need the...
So I'm thinking Merc's looking for Valkyrie cameras right here. I'm really hoping he's not looking upstairs as if he's worried somebody is there, because as a team, you should know whether or not you cleared something out. And if your droners can't effectively drone every nook and cranny of an upstairs, especially on bank, then that's a really big problem that the team has. So I'm hoping that Merc is just looking for Valkyrie cameras here, and I'm just hoping he is, because if he's looking and actually worried about where somebody would be, then that tells me that the team, the communication or coordination or trust just isn't there. Alright, I think he is just looking for Valkyrie cameras.
Taking a lot of damage here. I'm not sure from what.
Wait, server hold going on.
BC downstairs. The problem with this Nyx actually, because of this
playing aggressively.
hatch being open. Oh, what? That's not how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to go the other way.
So Crusher he just flat out ignored the hatch, and Nyx played aggressively and got the kill.
Mitt will lose.
Not the kill, but got the down.
Holes, they work both ways. Achieved and Crusher will be so low on HP here, and Nyx gonna...
Now, TSM is struggling to clear this server hold without the grenades, and this is one reason why I really wish they brought grenades. Yes, there were ADSs in play. However, you can burn those. So I very rarely... I think this Thatcher would be a lot better if he was replaced with a sledge or a buck, and then possibly even better is just to replace Bolo with a sledge or a buck, replace a Zofia, as then it's still roughly the same operator, as you get the soft destruction, but you also get the grenades in order to help clear out these areas.
Set up again for an extra ADS. No, he's gonna walk away from it, and Mint is being watched, but oh, Nyx, don't do it. Shotgun in hand, Nyx.
Good night.
Mint with one, Mint with the second on the floor.
This is why you really can't use flashbangs and to clear out the server stairs. It really becomes just you can just turn away from them. It's not flashbangs are very I almost want to say underwhelming in this game, where they work at times, but a lot of times they have to be landing almost directly on you. And you turn around, not flash, Crusher goes down.
And Nyx will find one more on Bolo. The entirety of TSM are just down.
It's why when a lot of teams are trying to go in, they just chunk 2 or 3 flashbangs at once, just because they know that the flashbangs themselves are not very they're not very consistent. So you can't just throw one in a lot of the time and say, okay, now everybody's flashed.
As they try to rush mid.
Now it becomes a 2v5 as TSM couldn't take out the server hold.
Work out. See the Maverick trying to walk around the corner here on the white
Merc
stairs.
probably tried to come in through the garage.
And Bio's looking for any logic in the situation, but Hyper is just not on point too far. Turns around, finds the head. Hyper finishes it all up. Round number 1 will be flawless from Dark Zero.
But really,
Crap,
I
I
would
think
say
it's not
that
close.
round came down mainly to TSM is not set up to clear out server. They really struggle with it, and they can't. I'd say really it's just they can't clear server effectively. They really have issues with it, and when it comes to actually pushing it, all they really have are flashbangs, and against a close range smoke with a shotgun, that's not going to work a lot of the time. So it's something that I think TSM is going to have to go back to look at, because really that just comes down to it just comes down to it's a you don't have the lineup to clear it out, and that's all it is. So
We'll see if they bring.
now theoretically, TSM could also just throw two bodies in at once, as if it's a smoke holding a shotgun, there's a delay between the first and second shot. However, at that point, you're basically sacrificing you're going for a 1-for-1 trade, and then you're also you're risking losing two, most likely losing one, and it comes down and really it's just one of those, do you want to sacrifice a body to take out their body and turn to a 4v4 when instead you could bring grenades or possibly capital fire bolts or a ying and take them out that way. So I think TSM just has to go back and look at their overall setup for attacking the basement and change it. Really, I would say the best thing to do would be either drop the Thatcher or drop the Zofia and bring grenades. And probably I would say the Thatcher, because if you saw the Thatcher, he managed to ADS the wall for the server stairs, and it got rid of every ADS there. But after that, what happened? You threw a flashbang in that didn't work. There were no Zofia stuns, wouldn't do anything, and it changed absolutely nothing. You forced the smoke to move down about 5 feet when a flashbang came in, turn around for half a second, turn back, and you're good. So I think that TSM just has to look. I think they just have to go back and look at their overall setup for clearing out a server hold.
That Capital when they actually go to attack CCTV again. Now they're going to be attacking
Now,
CEO because of course they have
upstairs defense coming out for
So we'll see Hyper
for DZ. Achieved. I don't remember what everyone was running. So, okay, Achieved was on Thatcher and is now an IQ. I think they're just going to be searching for Valkyrie cameras. As, I mean, upstairs a lot of teams like running Valkyrie, so you don't want to be giving away free information of, we don't have anybody in ATMs watching the lobby. You don't want to give away the information of, hey, we have 2 people rappelling outside and there's only 3 of us alive, so you can go and you can just throw bodies at the one person if you know their positioning. So they just want to be able to hunt that information. Then Bolo is still on a Zofia. I think he's kind of gotten comfortable with the Zofia pick, where when he first came on, I think he was kind of fluctuating between Zofia and Hibana. Now maybe if Hibana wasn't banned, Bolo would go back to her. However, I think it's also he's just comfortable on the Zofia role, so that's why he's going her. Then Merc is on Capital. It's Capital. Really not too much to explain. He brings a very large amount of utility to the team. The only problem is I don't think TSM has ever really utilized him to the best of his ability, where normally I see Merc getting killed off on the windows at some point due to somebody inside of the main lobby. And then Crusher is on the Thermite. You need a hard breacher. But I'm not... Yeah. I'm really trying to think about this Thatcher pick. Now, yes, you could argue that because of the Maestro cams in play, you may want to bring a Thatcher to get rid of them, but at that point, why not bring a Twitch who has more fragging power, or bring a Sledge who can get rid of them, but also bring grenades? Because you can't really trick these walls over here, because I mean, this entire wall can be seen from 2 windows, so it's not going to change anything if there's a bandit or a mute jammer here, because send someone up here, shoot, you got rid of it. So I really don't understand this Thatcher pick. It really is just questionable in my opinion. I think there's someone better that TSM could bring, but we'll just have to see how he's utilized. Then DZ, they have BC on the Legion. It's a Legion. He's an information operator where throw one down the stairs. Well, if there's a late flank coming up from the main lobby, you're gonna know. Throw one down here. If somebody tries to come up the stairs, you'll know. You can put them underneath the windows or even on the windows, and so if they try and repel, you can get them. Well, if you can put one on a window, and when they go and try and peek the window, they're gonna hit the goo mine, and they have to either go above or below and go back to either the roof or the ground in order to take it out, because you can't take Legion mines out on repel. So he's a very strong well, I wouldn't say very strong operator. I'd say he's a good operator and a very well-rounded and can bring a lot to the team. Then Hot is on the Maestro again. Because I think he was on the Maestro the first time. I can't remember in all honesty. Really, it's just you have some long angles. It's Maestro. He has a good gun. He can gain a good amount of information with his utility. Then Mint is on the smoke again. I mean, you want to waste time, you need a shotgun to open up rotates. The Maestro shotgun is terrible, the secondary one, so you normally want a different one. Then Nyx now is on the Valkyrie, while Doc has switched to Hyper has switched to Doc. I mean, Nyx, you want to bring DZ. They want information, so they want to bring the Valkyrie, and they also want to give Hyper the ability to just take long range fights. So they gave him Doc, and he's bringing a bulletproof camera. So that's actually a lot of information coming out from Dark Zero, where they're gonna have the bulletproof cam, 3 cameras, 2 Maestro cameras, and 6 or 7 Legion mines, however much there are. So that's a very large amount of information that DZ is bringing to the team.
We're gonna be bringing out the Doc to play those long angles, so not a surprise there. In this case, though, the Capitao is going to be very useful. Now, they got to anticipate potentially going to CEO, and where Capitao is going to be most useful is if anyone's playing in that elevator. Doc Bulletproof Camera, rather than going onto Banana, is going to be going over to watch the actual hallway, going all the way down towards Stock, if I understand where he positioned that correctly. And they're going to reinforce that wall in the hallway so that it can't be easily shot through from the window repel. Now, of course, if they had Hibana not being banned, they could open that up, but since Hibana is banned, they know that will stay secure and can safely put the bulletproof camera on it.
It's a very strong position atop those stairs. Seen it used so many times. It's a great effect, really. So I wonder how TSM will try to play against it. Of course, you have the Capitao, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think the Capitao gets much stronger once you force somebody into the elevator.
I'm wondering why Bolo's drone was downstairs.
Up in those positions and then just get burned to smithereens.
Well, the upside is with the bulletproof camera facing back towards the hallway, he can check his own exit to be able to rotate out of the elevator towards the hallway, assuming he doesn't get shot exiting the elevator if he's in there.
No, there you go. Merc's going to get his drone in.
Interesting way to throw it in. It's something you rarely see, just chuck it through the window there, almost like it's a death threat.
That's just a flank drone going up. Really, it's just to protect Merc and give him callouts for if somebody is trying to push him from the main lobby. And then Bolo's job is to contest anybody who tries to come main lobby. Because that's what I think it is.
So far, though, a bit of a slow round.
And now he's doing something else, so I don't know. Normally normally TSM will put Bolo inside of ATMs so that he can react to anybody trying to go and kill somebody on the repel.
Drone a bit more carefully this time. They do have achieved to
and possibly go for a late flank if they also want that, or repel up onto the windows if they want that.
Intel that they need. There will be the pulse, of course, this time to spot, but nonetheless, Chiefs has definitely got an important job here to make sure they don't walk in totally blind outside of just droning, but at least there's nothing to deny the drones. No mutes, no Mozzie.
I'm still waiting for the window reverse repel here to look on down into the site. Bolo will actually come in here from the main lobby entrance, so kill an Evil Eye on the top. Cole will lose one of them, and soon was the second one on barbed wire. Not sure. Hanako will actually peek around the center and find a free kill on Bolo. Okay, that's definitely not something. Soon was the second one on barbed wire. Not sure. Hunicol will actually peek around the center and find a free kill on Bolo. Okay.
I think Bolo went for a kill onto Hyper because you saw Hyper is here and he hops the windows. And based off of the angle that's being shot at, I think Bolo was aiming for Hyper.
And find a free kill on Bolo. Okay. That's definitely not something you were expecting, and Bolo was definitely not expecting that one.
Yeah. I think that was just kind of a little bit of aggression coming out from Bolo that shouldn't have been there. Yes, he's trying to go for peaks, apply some pressure and things. Well, actually, I can't really say it's bad aggression. I think Bolo just saw something that he thought was an opening, and he just got baited into it. I'm not sure if... I really think that's just what happened. And that's just something that comes kind of from experience in Pro League. And I think he just made a bad call, and that's really all that it came down to. He decided to peek and go for a kill. Well, he got baited into something, and now he's dead.
Merc's watching the Doc, but Doc's going to walk on up slowly, and Hyper will stay alive. So no damage done so far to Dark Zero. Spray through the soft wall.
Now, I think the thermite wall was just... I think the wall is just opened. And the problem with that is it's been 2 minutes. So, requiring 2 minutes to get a wall open is really not good. It's just not good time management, especially when there's a smoke in play and you can kill 30-40 seconds.
I mean, there's no mute, there's no bandit, there's no kite, and the Nyx actually turns around and finds...
I think Achieved hit a goo mine, which told Nyx someone was there, and then Nyx turned around and just won the gunfight.
Achieved, and one more for Hyper. He locks onto... turns around and finds the kill on Achieved.
I thought they should have killed for about half a second, and then just go to the next person. I want to see where Bio was killed from. Okay, so wall is opened, and Hyper just hit his shot onto Bio as he tried to walk in. That's why a lot of times teams will not open up both walls by the skylight. They will instead... Here, let me see if I can pull up a map. So here we go. So I go to the second floor. I'm on the wrong side. Looking here, a lot of teams will open up this wall right here while leaving this one still reinforced, because this gives them access to the site, and they normally so long as you have good window players here and here, you can clear out most of this area. So you instead want more the ability to be able to push here to clear out closet, but to be able to push here, you have to have this wall act as cover for you, because if you have to constantly be worried about two different angles, and that changed, that's annoying. If you have to worry about dealing with two different angles, then that can, I mean, if you're worried about two angles, you're going to go in 50-50, and you're probably going to lose no matter where they peek from. That's why most teams will only open up one. I think it was a bit, I'm not sure why the second one was opened from TSM. I'm not sure what the thought process was with that, because to really plant in CEO, you have to be able to take janitor closet, and that's something that hurt TSM in their, I can't remember what game it was. I think it was against Luminosity, where they didn't clear janitor closet and Crusher tried to go for a quick plant, and he just got shut down because there was a kill hole right here and there was a smoke play inside of closet. So I think it was just kind of a bad call opening up this, and that kind of led to Bio getting killed.
To Bio, firing through the wall, but fortunately for BC, his opponents are a bit too far back.
However, the bomb does go down.
Crusher alive. Oh, say that.
I didn't even notice the bomb was going down.
And one more for Hype to the opposite. I mean, there's no mute, there's no bandit, there's no kite, and the Nyx actually turns around and finds the kill on it.
Nyx wins a fight he shouldn't. Bomb's going down. See, I'm really not understanding what Bio is doing in this situation, because there's no real necessity for him to peek
firing through the wall.
as
but
you have window pressure coming out, and that window pressure can stop anyone trying to push the bomb. The main issue, I would say, for TSM, the main threat is Mint right now, just in the closet, because this closet is really, can be really strong. If you, well, it can be really strong, but it's also, in my opinion, you have to clear it out, and it's a mistake from Mint for not being able to recognize that the plant was going down. Maybe he got hit by a firebolt and had to move out, but I'm not sure.
Unfortunately for BC, his opponents are a bit too far back. Leaves only Merc.
Okay, yeah, so 2 firebolts were used. Problem is, the plant came down and Merc still has 2 smokes. So I don't see why you should have two of your smokes left when you are going for the plant, because that can be really, really useful for clearing out. I mean, just for cutting off angles and forcing a push to come. With if the enemy has to push through a smoke, then that is something that's really that's a really hard fight to win if you're the one having to go through the smoke.
Wow, say that. Merc only alive versus the 5 from Dark Zero. Hot and Cold barely has any HP and close.
So flank drone was in play, and that's how Merc knew just to get down. Problem is he can't effectively play the windows, and due to having man advantage, DZ can just jump out all day.
Find the kill, and Dark Zero will not lose a single play.
But this seemed to me like it was TSM is having issues playing off of one another, and they're kind of doing their own thing, relying on, I want to say, almost the ability to win gunfights to get them out of situations where Bolo got killed and there was no refrag available. Achieve tried to come up, I think it was Achieved anyway. Yeah, I think Achieve tried to come up the stairs. The south side ones, I can't remember what the actual call out is for them, but he got killed. He got killed and there was no refrag. Then Bio tried to cover something even though it was already being covered. He gets killed, and then Crusher gets killed, and throughout all of that, I think the amount of damage done was Hot and Cold going down.
Flawless round, part 2. Really, Bowl might be able to have of tellers.
Now,
So
Archives
between
Teller's coming out. So TSM, they dropped the Capital for an Ash. From what I've seen, Merc is the Ash player for TSM. I'm not sure if maybe Merc just prefers the play style of being a bit more aggressive, or if really he's just the one the team wants on them and everyone else is comfortable on the role. But I don't think the Ash is the right call in this situation, because you're bringing a bit of fragging power, but fragging power doesn't always get you somewhere, especially if you're not one of the really, really good fraggers. You know, the people who are just set apart, like Joystick. Joystick on Ash, I mean, throw him on Ash and he's going to go get 10 kills. Throw Merc on Ash and he's not going to get 10 kills. He's going to do well, yes, but at that point you still need to play it more as a team game, because you have to play as a team. There are some teams, kind of like Liquid, who kind of center themselves around Nesk, kind of like how in Counter-Strike, at least from what I understand about Counter-Strike, how little that is Na'Vi, they center their team kind of around Simple. So you can do things like that. However, TSM, I'm not going to say any of these players are overly amazing. They're good players, yes, but they're not the next Nesk. They're not the next Simple. So I think that they really should be staying as far away from fragging power and going more into team composition. How do we play as a team to win? Because I think that's the main issue that TSM is really struggling with when it comes to actually taking a lot of sites. But with that, Achieved is still on the Valkyrie, still on the IQ to counter the Valkyrie. At least that's my assumption of what he's there for. Velo is still on the Zofia. Bio is on Thatcher. I've talked about Thatcher. I disagree with him. I see, especially with this lineup, I don't see a point in the Thatcher. I really wish that it was. I really wish it was someone else that was being run instead of Thatcher. Because I don't think that you're going to be able to get rid of the ADS. I mean, the Evil Eyes with the Thatcher based on how they're placed. You have an Ashe and a Zofia in play, so already they should be gotten rid of, especially with no Jaeger in play. Maybe, I'm thinking maybe it's the Mozzie in play is what they're worried about, but they've been bringing Thatcher every single time, and he really hasn't done much. So I really think this Thatcher and Ashe together are really hurting the team, and that's just kind of what I'm seeing. Maybe it's just that Thatcher and Ashe are two comfort picks for Bio and Merc. However, I really do wish that they brought people who are more useful utility wise. Like, I would prefer a Jackal because he can bring smokes, a good gun, help on the roam clear, help on the soft destruction as you are attacking Archives Tellers, and the ceiling is soft. You could be bringing a Nomad who can help cut off some rotations, make post playing a bit easier. You could bring a Gridlock who brings smoke, soft destruction, the ability to cut off rotations. You could be bringing a Capital. You get firebolts, you get smokes, you have a good gun, you have a Claymore or flashbangs. You have a good amount of utility, and however, all of those are kind of being dropped for the Thatcher and Ashe together, and I really do disagree with that. Just because it seems to, I don't see the purpose of the Thatcher in this situation with the overall lineup, and the Ashe is an Ashe. So I think that bringing a utility-based operator would be a lot better.
Those 4 mute jammers will do the job as well as deny the drone hole from the open area small office. But if they have a Thatcher, none of that really means too much. So I can understand the usefulness of instead just trying to get intel, and I do wonder if they'll leave some of those walls soft again to be able to try and fight that. At least they'll be leaving this wall open here.
So with this rotate hole, and if I go back about 20 seconds, probably not 20 seconds,
Jammers
but
will do the job as well as deny the drone hole from the open area small office.
So with the rotate hole being put here, and these two walls being reinforced, that's telling me that DZ wants to be going... Fuck. DZ wants to go for a horizontal roam. And that's kind of how... that, in my opinion, is kind of the strongest roam that you can do on Bank, the horizontal one, where with this wall being soft, you can open up rotate holes or kill holes, and due to that, you can literally be running all around the area over here. You can also go to the skylight, you can go to the kitchen, so you have a lot of flexibility being able to just run around, and it's very hard to catch people off with that, especially if you aren't willing to invest the thermite charges to get rid of hatches that are reinforced. Like, you have the open area hatch right about here, you have another one here, but that's kind of a secondary one, doesn't really do shit. You have one inside of closet, so you have a lot of flexibility with this setup, in my opinion. And I didn't even talk about the DZ operators, but with that, BC's on Legion again. He's an information operator. You saw the Valkyrie, I think it was Nyx, actually was saved by the Legion going off behind her, which let him get the kill. Then Hot and Cold is on Mozzie. So Mozzie is a hybrid operator, at least the way I see him, where he does the roles of both Mute and Valkyrie. He just doesn't do them as well as, say, he's not as good at gaining information as a Valkyrie is, and he's not as good at stopping drones as a Mute is. However, in between, he's a very good operator because he can do both. And then Mintz is on Pulse. I think he's just trying to play vertically, as they're expecting TSM to be trying to play vertically from top down. So go for Nitro Cells. You have Hot and Cold, Mint, and Hyper all have Nitro Cells. So that can, the pulse can be really strong if you can hit those. Then Nyx is on the Maestro again. Actually, no, Nyx isn't on Maestro again. Nyx is on Maestro. And then Hyper is on the Valkyrie. So really, this is a really strong lineup for information. I think this is kind of why we're in a defensive sided meta, where the defenders can bring so much information to the game, and the attackers only get 10 drones. Because if you think about it, BC can gain information. Mozzie can gain information. The Pulse can gain information. Maestro can gain information. And Valkyrie can gain information. So all of these are information operators in my opinion. So I really think this is a good lineup because you should know wherever the attackers are almost no matter what at this point, based off of those. Just based off this lineup.
The usefulness of instead just trying to get intel, and I do wonder if they'll leave some of those walls soft again to be able to try and fight that. At least they'll be leaving this wall open here. Hot and cold opening up a rotate. Does take a bit longer to do with the super shorty than some of the other guns because only having 3 bullets means you're going to be reloading a lot of the time. Good denial of a drone entrance there coming through the open area. Drone hole. Although if they break open the window, not too hard to throw a drone over that. So you won't slow them down too much. Just maybe take advantage of any over-eager players who want a drone without opening the window. But Bolo again looks to be going for a lobby push.
It's again the same style here from TSM on the rappel. You need to fight the top floor. That's for sure. And Dark Zero putting anybody up and around it. Now you see the Valkyrie on the opposite end. There's a lot of reinforcement here, so a lot dedicated from Dark Zero. Let's see if they can keep up this undefeated perfect streak.
Oh, there it is. Not catching Bolo, though.
Now, one thing I'm curious about from this is why is Bolo droning open area when he's sitting outside of main lobby? Because any information he gets is he can't use it. Now his team can possibly use it, however, nobody's going to be in open area at this point as an attacker. Then with that, if he did try and get that to drone himself in, because with this door open, that makes me think that Bolo wants to drone himself in again. It's not going to work out because he has to try and drive that drone throughout the entire building, every Mozzie trap, all 5 defenders, and get it to him to start droning. At which point, I would have liked it if Bolo was able to get the drone to him and just, instead of spending the 45 seconds of time trying to get the drone instead of trying to spend the 45 seconds getting the drone to kind of get in a position to come help him, get it during the prep phase, try and drive it over to him. Now, I'm not actually sure if maybe it's due to the spawning of it, as it would have spawned over in alley access. And I think this is actually the issue, where I'm not sure if there's a way to get a drone from alley access all the way over to the main entrance without going to the inside, and I think maybe Bolo was worried about that. At which point, that just kind of sucks because it's a bad drone spawn. With that,
TSM will lose the first
Crusher gets killed.
Is their only hard breacher.
I would love to see Crusher's body.
Away. A big kill for Dark Zero here. It'll give them a huge advantage.
Okay, so both these walls are reinforced, I think. Wait.
And
why? So I'm trying to think, because I'm thinking that I don't think it was a pre-placed nitro cell. Most people don't do that. However, I think this just comes down to DZ. They have so much information. They were able to get the information to figure out where Crusher... I think they were just able to get information and say, okay, Crusher's running in, throw a nitro cell, and yeah, Mint...
Here we go. TSM will lose the...
Yeah, and Mint got a kill based off of it.
And that is their only hard breacher. The Thermite take
because
away.
I don't think that he was
Big
trying to
kill for
open up the... Wait, hold on, where's Achieved?
Zero here. It'll give them a huge advantage.
Okay, so a few things from what I'm seeing.
Here we go. TSM will lose the first one, and that is their only hard breacher. The Thermite
Right, so I think Thermite was actually trying to open up the wall. And that was just DZ read into that and got the kill. Then the next thing is, why is Achieved going... He's putting down a breaching charge to apply vertical pressure, even though Hyper is upstairs. And yeah, he's upstairs, so the top floor hasn't been cleared yet. It doesn't matter how much vertical pressure Achieved puts down right now, because he can't utilize it, and if they try to utilize it, the defenders can go for a flank. So I don't see why Achieved. I think Achieved is trying for vertical pressure too much, and they have to worry more about going for the. They have to worry more about the. What is it? You have to worry more about going for the basic roam clear, because the top floor isn't clear. Hyper is still upstairs. The next thing is I see 2 drones in the exact same area, and I mean, if you put 2 drones in the exact same area, you're both gaining the same information. So if you can gain double that amount of information, then you need to be doing that, because the attackers are already starved of information because they only have 10 drones. But with the what is it? I mean, by droning, really, they have 10 drones to gain as much information as possible. If you try and use 2 of those drones and you're gaining the same amount of information, then really you're already throwing away a drone, because by droning the same thing over and over again, you're just gaining the same information, and it's not going to help. Right now, Merc and Bio droning the same area, that's really just going to be... all that's going to cause is, okay, yeah, we know that this office area, stock trading, I think, is clear. Great, it's clear. Well, do we need 2 drones for that? No. Is the upstairs clear? I don't know. Do you want to go and drone it? Yeah, sure. But it's something where instead of just droning the exact same area, maybe drone out Hyper right now, instead of spending a minute trying to just drone the same area. So it's...
Zero here, I'll give them a huge
I don't like
advantage.
that.
And is the wall open? No, it is not. The Fuser is just on the floor, and it was a free kill here. Just a Nitro cell.
They almost might want to consider bringing in a Maverick instead of a Thatcher at this point, just to have the redundancy in the hard breacher and also something to stop them from stopping the walls from getting opened.
They're bringing the Zofia and the Ash and the IQ. You're kind of doubling down on that soft
Nyx kills
breach.
Bolo.
And Dark Zero can...
So Bolo has tried, I think this is the 3rd round where he tried to enter through the main lobby. And it's not working out for him.
Perfect so far.
So I really think that TSM should be going back to their... I think they should be going back to who's playing ATMs. Maybe Bolo just wants to be playing more aggressive than he's allowed to. And at that point, switch him with someone else, so that maybe it's Bio who's over by the main lobby, while Bolo goes and helps on the roam clear, being a bit more active. Because there are players who hate sitting still. I want to say Rexon is one of them from Luminosity. Actually, I can't really say that. I was only watching his Echo game, and he struggled a little bit on it. So maybe he's just not comfortable with Echo. But look at Latin America as an entire region. They all hate sitting still. So it really, I think that it's... what am I trying to say? I think it just comes down to some players are more patient than others. Some people can wait 2.5 minutes holding the same angle and not caring about pushing forwards, while there are others who will literally hold an angle for 5 seconds and then they'll get bored and go somewhere else. So it just comes down kind of player preference, and that's why you have the fraggers of the team who don't sit still. You have the support who can sit still with the droning and stuff. So it comes down to, I think maybe Bolo needs to be looked at for his overall role. Maybe he's just trying to play a bit more aggressively than he normally should be. And it's just something they're going to have to look at. Or maybe they don't even put Bolo over by the main lobby.
Thatcher and the AQ lost alive as Merc will go through and eliminate some of the goo mines or set before by PC. A bit of a thank you message. So he walked away. Next is holding on to archives alone. Bio continues to achieve. Has already expended all of his breaching charges. Drones will be used away, and the Maestro will run away from. Oh, he'll run again.
I don't know if he's teasing, baiting him, or like honestly doesn't know that he's up there. I guess we'll find out in just a second here. Claymore is in his pocket as well, so if he dies with that, not to mention his EMPs, but no, looks like Maestro was unaware.
Trying to go back a little bit, see exactly what's happening.
So he walked away. Next is holding on to archives alone.
Because the issue with losing the thermite, so early is you can't, well, not early, but without him using his utility, is you can't open up the open area hatches. Because you can't because you can't get those hatches open, you're applying no pressure to open area. And by applying no pressure to open area, that makes it really hard to take it. So that's kind of a struggle that TSM's gonna have to go through now with Thermite being dead.
Bio opportunities are achieved, has already expended all of his breaching charges. Drones will be used away, and the Maestro.
The next thing, Bio has a Claymore. So if you're bringing a Claymore, you have to have a way to use it. And if it just means putting it down the stairs, then great. But if you're right now, this makes me think that after 2 minutes, the fact that his Claymore isn't down makes me think that Bio's not really sure about where he wants to use it. And at that point, why not bring more soft destruction? Because I'm pretty sure Bio gets access. I'm pretty sure Thatcher gets access to breaching charges. So why not bring breaching charges instead? Or in all honesty, why not bring a sledge? You get the same gun. I mean, you've used one EMP grenade that has done really nothing. You can still take out Maestro cameras with the hammer and the grenades. So why not drop the sledge why not drop the Thatcher for a sledge at this point?
Will run away from Bio. Oh, he'll run again.
I don't know if he's.
And then Bio gets the information,
him or honestly doesn't know that he's up there.
And he's just going for an aggressive play, crouch walking down.
Not to mention his EMPs, but no, looks like Maestro was unaware. He was focused on a different
angle. Sight. Problem is that he's not sure about where the enemy is. He has no idea if the enemy is inside of A or B. He has no idea if they're inside of A. He doesn't know if they're going to be coming from the open area.
It's meant for that on purpose. Just for rotations. Chief will find another, but hot and cold. Trying down. Bio now is inside of the site. He spots
so Bio likes to watch the open area rotate, which makes sense.
Meant for that on purpose.
Then Achieved manages to kill. Who was it? Achieved kills BC. BC is the Legion. I have no idea where that was. I just don't. Hot and Cold went for a flank through Skylight. This is kind of an issue with TSM, I think, where nobody's on flank watch. So Hot and Cold should not be allowed to go for this flank. He should not be able to walk underneath Skylight and live when you literally are pushing from that area. Now, yes, your entire team's not pushing from there for now. However, I'm trying to say, really, Hot and Cold just shouldn't be allowed to do this. I mean, if you want to do a push, you have, if you want to push, you have to have a flank watch. And right now, TSM, they don't have the communication and they're not playing off of one another. Really, Bio just walked into sight and that's how he got his kill. And I'm not sure how Achieve got his. But then no flank watch, so Bio goes down. Then Hyper gets Merc. There goes the... Who's Merc? There goes the Ash.
Only one alive that's achieved on the AQ as he walks into the site, at least trying to. Nitro Cell will keep him on his toes here as he finds the hole that's been opened up. Pre-firing, but he's looking through the long angle. Hyper turns around, finds Achieved as he walks on in from the open area. Dark Zero might have lost their flawless streak, but
yeah.
That round came down more just to there were early picks for DZ.
And again,
they were able to take out the Zofia and the Thermite easily. I mean, really early, and that turned into a 5v3. So it just comes down to, I think it just comes down to the push that TSM is going through, where they're doing the same thing that they do in all their other games, and that's kind of, I think that's what's kind of killing them. And you know, think about, I want to check something out on Liquipedia, where I want to see where TSM has gone to for all of their games. Clubhouse, Villa. Oh yeah, so they went to Bank there. I don't think they could go Bank here. No, they went to Cafe. Coastline. Bank. So they've gone to Bank twice here. They've gone to bank in the Raleigh qualifiers. I think that's Raleigh. I really have no idea how it's pronounced. But they went to bank in the Raleigh qualifiers. They went to bank at the DreamHack. So there's a lot of VODs of TSM at bank. So most teams know what TSM's going to do in their attack. And I think that's what's really hurting them right now, where DZ is really just, they're reading into what TSM is doing, and they're beginning to counter it slowly by slowly, getting the early picks. They know they know Bolo's going out to main lobby, and they know he's going to be there by himself. Well, if he's there by himself, you put two bodies, you put a Doc and a Maestro on him at the same time, and he's going to struggle. He's probably not going to. He may get a 1-for-1 trade, but you can get that kill. Now nobody can watch the north windows. So I think DZ is really just reading into it, and it comes down to TSM not really adapting anything, and now they're down 3 rounds because of it.
And like you said, the strats don't necessarily matter.
Now, basement defense coming out as we can go back to basement, and nobody likes open area. With that, Achieved is on the Thatcher now. Bio's on Maverick. I've talked about Thatcher already. Bolo's on Zofia. Merc is on IQ. And Crusher is still on Thermite. So no real changes coming out from TSM. Then DZ. Yeah, I think the only change that TSM is making is with their first attacking round, they had Merc on the Jackal, and now he's on the IQ. But with that, no real changes. I mean, you saw how hard they struggled really hard when it came to opening up to taking server stairs, and they know that it's going to be a basement defense. So I really wish that TSM brought grenades or something to help clear out the server stairs, because my idea is if you have to go for gunfights on those, then you're at a really big disadvantage, and you shouldn't be going for attacks or defenses that put you at, or really for plays that put you at a disadvantage in just the beginning of it. But at this point, we just have to see how they're going to react. Then BC is on the Mozzie. I mean, he's a hybrid operator. Hot and Cold on the Valkyrie brings information in Nitro Cell. The only difference, actually no, there's 2 differences. The Pulse and the, Pulse and Maestro would drop for Castle and Mute. A little curious because normally Maestro is a pretty good operator for fighting inside the garage here. And I'm not sure why the Mute's being brought out, as I don't think droning is the issue for TSM so much as it's the execution of I think it's their execution. So I'll have to see how this Mute's being used. Maybe Hyper's going for a roam and wants the Mute jammers to help on that. So we just have to wait and see.
Dark Zero know this map inside and out. And right now they are definitely just sieging it up in here. There's just no penetration really happening from TSM. They're outside of getting the 1 plant down. So far, that's the farthest they've been able to get, the closest they've been able to get to a potential win. But that was without even getting any kills. So far, Achieved and Bio, no, I guess there must have been 1 other kill there. Because Achieved and Bio both have 1. Hyper doing a pretty good job as well as everyone, but BC actually surprises me, but I'm sure BC will climb up there as the
couple
rounds go on.
assists.
Yeah, he's softening them up.
Yeah, so there's an upstairs roam coming out from DZ, and I like this because I may not agree necessarily that you need to go for the upstairs roam or for the ground floor or for the first floor roam, but I like how DZ is showing a different look. They're not just showing the exact same thing for 2 or 3 rounds in a row, and I think that just comes down to their experience. A lot of teams will try and have 2 strategies for every site, because you show basically if you can win the 3 rounds, well, now you have to go back, and now if you show the same lineup, same setup, then a lot of teams can begin to counter that. That's why it's really important to be able to adapt you have to adapt throughout the season and come up with new strategies, new looks, because if you show the exact same thing over and over again, it's just going to get countered. Unless you're Empire, at which point you do whatever the hell you want. You show the exact same vanilla strategy every single time, and you just go whip everyone. But this team is not the next Empire.
A similar setup to what we saw before with rotation holes and even opening up the hatch. It's definitely something that's unorthodox, as the usual is reinforce all the hatches, barrel them all down, and then walk on back to the site. See the barricades that have been put up by the castle of Dark Zero.
Velo's
Just to
outside the
block
main
off
lobby again.
rotation
Who would have
points
known?
Between the back white stairs.
Hyper gets a
and
kill
the
onto
front, and
Achieved.
Nitro Cell
Where
will
was
connect.
that?
Hyper will find a kill.
Please
on
tell me you didn't just
Badger.
try and walk in there. No?
Hyper's just been doing so well.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs going, you know what, I'll take the Thatcher. You take the Maverick.
Oh.
And then
Okay. So this is really good from DZ. They say, okay, TSM's doing the exact same thing where they repel in every single time. Okay, let's have a pre-placed Nitro Cell here and put a Valkyrie camera in. I mean, that's just really, really basic counter-stratting. And it's really good coming out from DZ because that shows me that DZ is really reading into what TSM is doing, and TSM isn't really having an answer for it.
and you just take it out. Now they didn't really need the Thatcher necessarily in combination with Maverick, but at the same time, I can understand it for this site for what I was saying last time about trying to deny a lot of their intent.
No, kind of amusing that there's a pre-placed Nitro Cell and there's also an IQ in play. And I gotta check something. Alright, I'll deal with that later, but really it's amusing that there's a Nitro Cell and a Valkyrie camera pre-placed, and you have an IQ in play.
There's
So
one black eye spot. At least Merc really needs
now,
to
yes,
help
you're not
with
really
that, though, to make
expecting
sure
it, but
that now that they have no Thatcher, they have some idea where a lot of those gadgets are, so they can at least work around them. So they're definitely trying to push from the top down this time, but it's costing them a lot of time. They've already spent a minute getting set up for this, lost one of their attackers, and they're only going to continue to get slowed down as they get closer to the site, and they're, of course, really going to struggle again to try and take those server stairs against that shotgun.
You know what the problem is? Whenever TSM are losing a player, it's because Dark Zero are catching them off guard in positions where TSM just don't feel that there would be any pressure to be put on top of them. You saw in this very round where the Thatcher was killed, literally on the Vulcan.
Yeah, they just can never feel comfortable.
And the instant you're like, okay, this is fine, is the moment the Dark Zero will pounce against you. Mint will dodge away from double
Flashbangs do
flashbangs here.
nothing.
Will throw an extra gas canister. He still has one in the back pocket with 1:05 left on the clock. This is just burning away a lot of time. And that's why you saw that top roam. Oh, needs to keep firing down as a
throw 3 bodies in, everyone gets scared at the moment a smoke canister goes off, and they fall out, and now you lose a body, lose 2, lose 3.
Well. Can he go for the finisher and take down Bolo? Yes, he can through the smoke. And
So this should be a really good wake-up call for TSM this round, that they cannot be doing the exact same thing over and over again. They have to be able to adapt. They have to be able to read into what DZ's going and doing counter-stratting of their own. Because, I mean, DZ showed this, not this look, but they showed this setup where, at least this part of it, where they have the smoke on server stairs. Okay. They showed it already. This isn't a new strategy. This is a relatively old one, where it used to be an Ella, sometimes it's a smoke, sometimes it's a mute. And TSM is really struggling to get rid of it.
Sniper on a Merc. It's a massacre, and yet another flawless round. We're breaking records all around here, Devin.
This is anything different with it. So he's going to be back on that IQ for the CEO attack. Now last time,
Alright, so CEO
Bolo
defense
was
coming
trying-
out. With that, TSM, I think it's the same lineup, but instead of the Capitao, they're running a Jackal, which I'm not really getting. I mean, I think a Capitao on this attack is a lot better than a Jackal is. So I don't see why he's being brought instead of the... I don't see why Jackal's being brought instead of Capital. Yeah, I just don't know. Then Thatcher's in play again, even though I don't think Thatcher has done really anything. So I think that TSM has to look at, why are we bringing Thatcher if he's not really helping our team? Why not bring a Capital and a Jackal if you want one or both? Gridlock, I think, would be great. Then somebody who could help hold main lobby, maybe a Nomad. Not necessarily hold main lobby, but a Nomad to help on some rotations. There's some different...
pushing through ATMs, got caught off guard. Nyx has a camera
just something different. Really, they're showing. They're not really showing anything new.
We'll see a repeat, and if he'll try and push again, they really need to adapt at this point because they are losing and losing hard. The number of flawless rounds so far is just really putting TSM to shame, unfortunately. And I was hoping today might be a bit of a turnaround for them, but it just seems like Dark Zero just establishing dominance. Now, of course, things could switch around. It's certainly not over yet, but it might just be 2 rounds, 3 rounds from over. Hyper and Mint definitely doing a lot of the work for team. Again, BC still not finding any kills in 4 rounds, but guess what? He's only died once, too.
Alright, so Bolo's not going main lobby again. He's going to Garage, which I don't get.
The team's doing too much.
Okay.
Stop being so good.
He's just like, you got this, guys. No worries.
I'm just here for the moral support. I'm just here for the ride.
Well, he was, you know, coach, analyst, whatever before, so... I mean, probably not so much on the coaching side, probably more on the analyst side, but you never know.
Well, Crusher's going to walk on in for at least once. Won't be pressure put on top, and the drone will open things up potentially here for Bolo.
So I'm wondering why TSM is electing to do a roam clear of the bottom when the attack is supposed to be coming up from above. Because you can't, this isn't going to actually roam clear anything. Because the defenders, I mean, if the Valkyrie said, hey, I'm getting pushed from Garage, someone go to the open area hatch, it's opened. Well, if it's open, then Bolo, as he comes in, is going to get shot from that hatch. So I'm not really sure why there's this roam clear coming up from the bottom up. You can't roam clear from the bottom up. You have to go from the top down. Because if you try and do it from the bottom up, then as a defender, you can just drop hatches and now you're down to the bottom again within 10 seconds, and the roam clear, well, it took a minute and a half, but now you're back down there, so it didn't change anything.
Back, and they can be happy that they can maybe fight the Valk solo here, Nyx. But this is Nyx, and this is a Valkyrie.
I like the pinch attempt at least.
Yep.
There we go.
He's going to be stunned. Nitro Cell thrown right.
Now, I like the pinch that comes out. That was good coordination from Bolo and Merc to get that kill.
But
however, it's just kind of why are they doing a roam clear of the basement when there's when the bomb is upstairs? I really don't get that.
The Valkyrie, Nyx, but also
okay, so Bolo's face checking as he goes upstairs instead of just using his drone. Don't get it, but okay. However, you also saw that the closet hatch, as well as the open area hatch, was open, so the defenders could very easily drop down and start going for flanks on Bolo if they said, okay, Bolo is on this south stairs part of the way up. Okay, someone dropped closet, someone then dropped the closet and open area hatch, and then you're now behind Bolo. So
just one.
I really disagree with roam clearing from the top, I mean from the bottom up, and I think it's better just to go for the push as a normal push. Where you go from the top down, and then late game when you're going for the plant, that's when you send somebody below to deal with anybody with a nitro cell.
And the remaining players at least get some idea on the position because, as I said, Dark Zero seemed to always have an idea on theirs. You can imagine most of those black eyes were put up before the death of Nyx, so they will still again continue to have that information.
Hot and Cold is so focused in the one position, and is the head spotted? Yes. But it's Bio to find BC. Hot and Cold.
Bolo goes down, says BC.
Hot and Cold is so focused in the one position. And is the head spotted?
Really lucky from Crusher there. At least I think that was Crusher.
Hot and Cold is so focused in the one position.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's Crusher. But he's really lucky that he started crawling at the time he did, because if not, his head would have been taken off.
Is the head spotted? Yes.
Then Bio kills BC. There goes
Bio to
Legion.
find BC.
Bolo comes up. I'm not sure. Let me actually see if he was droning.
One position. And is the head spotted? Yes. But Bio to find BC. Hot and cold on the ball.
I'm not sure if he knew the Maestro's positioning, but
Pressure will go for the fuser plan, but Smirk actually
Hyper
has
gets
gone
caught out.
onto the site itself. Brief fire from Hot and Cold will find Bio. And fire from Mint actually from Janitor.
no closet
Turn it
control, so
into
the
a
planter goes
2v2.
down.
Try to not stack up here, Dark Zero, as they assault the reverse repel. Chiefs will find one on Hot and Cold, and again, this reverse repel go for the fuser plan, but Smirk actually focused in the one position. And is the head spotted? Yes, but it's Bio to find PC. Hot and Cold on the bolo. Pressure will go for the fuser.
Okay, so Hyper
plan,
just
but Smirk
turns around, gets shot in the
actually has
back.
gone onto the site itself. Brief fire from
Bio
Hot
loses
and
the
Cold will
gunfight.
find Bio. And fire from Mint actually.
Pressure gets the plant down, but he was in a. I mean, where are the smokes? You have a Jackal in play, but there are no smokes coming out. So I don't see why that's happening. So I'm really confused about that.
From Janitor, or turn it into a 2v2. Try to not stack up here, Dark Zero, as they assault the reverse repel. Chiefs will find one on Hot and Cold, and again, this reverse repel is just so powerful. There's two of them. How do you even deal with these? Merc now is on the outside of the open wall. Oh, he's gonna. Oh,
This was actually really.
Oh, is he actually gonna do it? Mint is gonna
This was a
sink it.
really
A
good
few
try
seconds left.
from
Merc
Mint.
turns around the last second and he fires into him. TSM. Oh, baby, if you only knew how.
But really, this was kind of. This was the first round that TSM did something different, and it started getting them kills, where they were able to start pretty early onto the Valkyrie, get her down. Then they managed to catch Hyper on a bad rotation, so good on that. I think that if I remember correctly, I didn't realize we were this close. Yes, okay, so this was the right wall getting opened, which last time that's what got Bio killed. So I really don't understand the purpose of this, because I think that most of these windows can be contested from outside by the main door through those windows. Now maybe nobody's comfortable with playing that position, but I think it could force Hyper to move. So it wouldn't require this getting open, which still kind of gives a fair fight for the defenders. Where, I mean, I wouldn't say that having to shoot somebody here is really that hard as a defender. And if I'm having to fight on the same level, then I can do that. So I'm really not seeing the point of this getting open. However, it does.
Is the head spotted? Yes, but it's Bio to find PC. Hot and Cold on the bolo.
However, it does get Hyper killed, so I mean, you can say it works. Hold on, I want to go back to Jackal. Okay. 2 smoke grenades. Why are there 2 smoke grenades and you're going for the plant? I don't understand that. I mean, you haven't cleared out closet, so why not throw those smokes on the closet wall at least, so that it stops any angle for where the planter is going down, and then you can watch the B-bomb while the person on the windows covers as well, and you just don't have to worry about this. So I really don't get that.
Gone onto the site itself. Brief fire from Hot and Cold will find Bio. Fire from Mint actually from Janitor. Or turn it into a 2v2. Try to not stack up here, Dark Zero, as they.
But DZ, I mean, TSM tried something new and just began picking apart DZ. So good on them for that.
Unless you get picked peeking the window, you have the advantage. So
now the upstairs defense coming out again. A lot of teams I think prefer either upstairs or downstairs, and they have archives tellers. It's kind of its own separate thing. Where it's kind of like the third bomb site, where you don't go there because you necessarily want to, but you go there because it's kind of necessary. But with that, TSM, they're running the exact same lineup. I really disagree with that. I mean, at this point, what is Bio doing on the Thatcher that's really saying we need a Thatcher? Why not bring a Twitch instead and then have the basic, you have like a basic Thatcher, you're not going to be as effective, but you then have a much better gun. So I'd really prefer that. But I mean, at this point, it is what it is. Then DZ, I think they're running. No, they dropped the. I'm not really sure who they dropped, but they dropped somebody for a castle. Wait, did they have a castle last round? Normally castle is pretty big here, so. No, they dropped the Legion for a castle, I think, which I'd say that's a good change.
Crusher yet to find a kill, but neither has BC, who finally got picked off again in a much better round for TSM. But now they've got to deal with the second attempt at CEO, which surprises me. They don't just go to Tellers. They were just fine on Tellers before, and so far the CEO has been their weaker bomb site. So it's interesting that they would choose to go here again.
10 seconds to insertion.
But you never know. Maybe they've got some adaptations in mind
5 seconds left.
to be able to make this a little bit better. So far, not changing up too much on their lineup. I'm not sure if they brought the castle before. I don't think so, though.
Seen the castle, I believe, once before this.
Yeah, I don't think they brought the previous round though.
No, not the previous round. I don't think it was. Actually, no, you might be right. They didn't bring it a single time.
I mean, castles generally.
That's a little interesting.
I don't think they
I'm looking at the stock trading reinforcements right here. These three. And the purpose of it, I understand, is to stop anybody from getting shot through the wall from the window. And then you have the shield right here. So it's just, I see it interesting. I've never seen it before, so we'll just have to see how it works. I don't think it does. But it's good that DZ, they're showing adaptation. They're showing that, okay, we lost last round. Let's bring on a different strategy and go from there.
I mean, castles generally
different setup, different lineup.
bomb sites, so.
Well, it's not really a different lineup, but it's just different strategy. I mean, little adaptations that are being made.
By shutting down their own play early on.
Yeah, that really helped. The pinch onto Nyx downstairs on the Valkyrie. Now BC's
And now Hyper got killed from here last time, so now there's a reinforcement.
The Valkyrie. Nyx is playing that castle. So it's going to be a little bit different, and I imagine might not get caught off guard as easily, as he's going to be playing a bit differently. But Merc actually spotting Hot and Cold from behind. Hot and Cold's been quite the beast, though, along with Hyper, so getting an early kill onto that Maestro would make, I think, such a huge difference in this attack in terms of turning things around, making it a little bit easier. But just still, getting a kill on someone like Nyx, who's usually really on top of his kills, is great as well. But Hyper on that dock, I have a feeling is going to be...
Solo going through garage again, not sure why.
Contention. They get that far.
Merc and Crusher are now going to the front of the buildings. They're not trying to deal with the shield.
Down. Take the lobby instead.
Yep. In the meantime, I don't see a Merc just waddle into the lobby.
Waddle.
I don't think that the Jackal is droning. No, he's not droning. He's face checking everything, so there's a mistake there.
Hyper's just using the castle barricade to his advantage here. It's a lot more difficult to deal with him, and this is where you'd love to have the Zofia to support.
And right now, DZ knows that they're coming in from there, so...
Been pretty busy with it. Oh, it's a great position for a Black Eye that was preset by the Valkyrie. And he'll just be able to easily fire into his opponents. The Alda action.
So Crusher takes some bullets, and really he's just saved because of the bars. And if you ever get saved from the bars, that's really I see that kind of as a mistake, a problem, because those things are kind of RNG. If you're getting shot through the bars, and a lot of the bullets hit the bars instead of you, that's kind of a bad attack from you, and kind of bad positioning from you, because you're not actually, I wouldn't say you're necessarily winning, you're doing better because of your positioning, you're winning because of the bars tanked a few more bullets that would have probably hit you and killed you.
Hot and Cold will find Bio. It drops Hot and Cold on the floor in the meantime as Balo will go for the reef.
And then everything happens. So Hot and Cold, I think he wins the fight onto Bio. Either Bio tried to jump into stock trading or contest the pixel peak. Either way, not really the best. Bolo then comes up from the south stairs, peeks with no information. Merc tries to run in. BC gets 2 kills because no one droned him out.
Smoke will trap him into position, but he's got the support of Mint. achieved the kill. Oh, at least Mint from the grave. Achieved the pre-fire into side of the wall here. So he'll have to dive on in. He's the last man alive, and he actually has gone into the site itself. He'll destroy the barbed wire. He pre-fires. Oh, he was so close to hitting BC around the corner. He's just gonna watch the diffuser here in the hallway. BC's gonna hear his opponents walking in. Achieved will find the kill. It's a double for him.
How did he get that?
He's just gonna watch the diffuser here in the hallway. BC's gonna hear his opponents walking in. Achieved will find.
I'm not sure I got that. Maybe you just shot through there, expecting someone to be there.
5-5-2 versus the UMP, and there's so little time left. Nix is playing it smart here, just standing behind the bomb chassis. He knows that Achieved has to go for the plant. He's going to try to time it correctly. Goes in for it. He's right behind the bomb. Goes in, no time left. He pre-fires into it, but Achieved.
Good shot from Achieved.
Shot is found.
So good clutch from Achieved.
Dropped.
But it was also kind of a bad push, bad call from TSM, where they said just run everybody up the stairs and hope for the best. Because I think it was 2, if not 3 people got killed. No, I think 2 people got killed from BC inside of the, inside of the elevator. And nobody's checking that, so no droning going on. And then a third one dies trying to contest that, who then dies to the smoke. So this round just kind of became a clusterfuck. There wasn't really much to really talk about, because at the end it just became everyone ran in there, and it worked mainly because Achieved got the clutch.
Back of Achieved.
What a mistiming from seemed to be the weakness.
Now side switch 2-4.
They lose it every time. They actually got pretty close the first time as well. So them choosing to play it again, I guess I was right, was a bit of a mistake. They should have gone.
So basement defense coming out from TSM. With that, Pulse for information, Bio to play the garage as well as get information, Bolo on Valkyrie for the nitro cells and information, Merc is on Jaeger, not sure why yet. It could be kind of a Merc holds behind server while Crusher holds server stairs, and it could be a setup like that. I'm not sure. We just have to wait and see. But really nothing glaring, nothing really strange about this lineup. Then DZ. BC's on the Thatcher. I'm still okay. I don't understand everyone's love with Thatcher when there's a Thermite and a Maverick in play. I mean, yes, Cade is in play, but I really don't think he's going to be doing I don't think he's been doing a huge amount. Then Nyx is on the Ash. I mean, with the Thatcher, why not drop Ash, bring Sledge, bring grenades, and that helps clear out the server hold a lot easier. And then Hyper is on the Jackal, who I think is kind of just he's kind of just a comfort pick at this point, as well as he is a good operator, good gun, good smokes. We bring him more for his gun and smokes than you do for his utility. But we'll just have to wait and see how he's used.
However, sides have switched, and TSM now going to be on defense, turning on CCTV. Again, no surprise there. You're going to be going with a similar defensive lineup, what we saw before. Dark Zero, leaving nothing to chance, is going to bring both hard breachers and a Thatcher, Jackal and an Ash, so they're definitely set up for a take here. Will TSM roam, though? Will Bolo, for example, be on a roam with the Valkyrie? Or will he stay a bit more on site with his C4s, be able to help out to stop the plant? Time will tell.
10 seconds left.
Something you said before, but wherever may they roam, wherever
they may roam.
They'll definitely be right in the lightning.
That's right.
To the end of this round.
So it looks like a roam is coming out based off of that rotate hole.
For whom the bell tolls?
For whom the bell tolls.
1.
Yeah, sorry, so those 2 rotate holes kind of telling me a roam is coming out, because that gives you the ability to rotate all around the archives, tellers, open area, kitchen, without worrying about getting shot from Skylight or from the main lobby.
I like Hyper going in for the approach, similar to the way that that last round they had the Jackal also on TSM go in. He's going to be able to drone and then also look for any footprints to see if anyone might be nearby that might have roamed near the.
So Hyper is self-droning himself in, but
look for anyone kind of close. Maybe
They
we'll
don't
try
know
and
if the
find
top
them.
floor is
There
clear.
still
Okay,
is
I
kind
think
of
they
an
know the
open
top floor
area
is
that
clear
if you're
based on
walking
how
around, just try to
Nyx is
glance at the
playing,
footprints, you're standing kind of out in
but
the
I'm
open.
not
You get
100%
a
sure.
little bit of range if it's near the entrance. But so far, it looks like DZ playing very careful, trying to figure out where TSM is. And like I said, they were playing off a ton of intel on their defense. Now they're trying to do the same thing on offense, something that we saw a bit of back and forth with in terms of last match, EG versus Rogue. Nyx, however, though, going to be a little more aggressive as he's going to be the Ash player. They are droning for him, of course, but he's going to take map control rather quickly.
He's already in. He's taking control of the hall. Oh no! Oh what?
Okay, so Merc is really, really lucky there. I mean, no, not Merc, Nyx. Nyx is really lucky there that he didn't get killed from Merc. I'm amazed. Really, it was... Merc should have died anyway. He was in a really bad situation where he was. I'm not sure why he rotated around to the elevators when... Yes, you can play the elevators when the hatch is open, but the the hatch had been reinforced. So I really don't see the purpose of... I don't see why he rotated there and didn't just try and run back to site.
So many ways. But at least Dark Zero.
This is what I want to
So
see.
you bring a
What are they gonna
Thatcher,
take
but
the
you
silver stairs differently?
burn the ADSs with
Is Crusher
flashbangs.
in the same position
Okay.
as we saw Dark Zero setting themselves up before. It actually has to fall back due to the Texan Dynamite opening up the Skyline.
So the hatch gets opened,
There you go.
That didn't seem
and
like
the
that
server hold is now
for,
cleared.
for Dark Zero.
Yeah, they just
Not
don't
sure
know
why the
what-
smoke
Oh,
elected
this
to
is what
fall
Nyx is
back
gonna
there. I think actually no, I think I know why. I think he was expecting. Well, I'm not sure he's expecting. I wouldn't say expecting. I think it was basically there was one of two options. If the hatch gets open, he has to fall back because there's nobody playing behind server, so the enemy can pinch him by dropping hatch and pushing down the staircase at the same time. So when the hatch gets open, he has to move. However, if the hatch doesn't get opened, then he uses his smokes and he fights it out inside of there.
For it.
And so I think he
Put up
just
the hatch
elected to
and
fall
pressure
back.
from dirt and have someone push the stairs or put pressure on the stairs at the same time.
Nyx
There's pretty
face
much nothing
checking.
the smoke can do.
There you go. Nyx gets the information from his teammate's drone that it's all clear and fine and dandy. They know that there's achieved in the back of the pulse. Just gotta be watching. But 45 seconds, you can still clear out quite a bit. Texan Dynamite had already been used, but all you need is Mint on the Maverick here to open up a small hole and fire into its opponents in the back. There's some extra angles as well to be opened up. The Maestro with the pixel angle all the way from Garage. Something you have to keep watching for quite a bit. EMP throwdown as hot and cold as...
Alright, so Jackal's in play, but no smoke's coming out.
Tested. Is he actually going to get this done? Yes.
Crusher no, was it Crusher? Yeah, Crusher misses the smoke, and Plant goes down. That's something where it just comes down to practice. If you don't know the arc and you fuck it up, that's on you.
By TSM. He just saved up all
Actually, based on that, ooh, that could just be one of those times that the smoke canister just fucks up on its own, and you have no real control over it. And I think that's what happened based off of what I was looking at for the you know, hold on, let me just go back and...
Okay, Dark Zero left with 5 players, TSM at 4, and this is a massive,
Hold on.
massive blunder.
Here, so this, from this point of view, it looks to me like it would hit the thermite, so I'm really surprised it didn't. Yeah, I'm really surprised that didn't stop the plant. So maybe maybe it was a bad throw, and we're just seeing something that looks like it should have been a good throw because smokes are client-sided, like the smokes, not the actual smoke grenades, but really it possibly was just a bad throw, possibly was just a fuck up on the actual gadget as a glitch. I'm not sure, so I can't really talk about it.
They just saved up all of their utility, used almost nothing except for the smoke. BC's holding off in the cross here, but it's already 2 for Hyper as he finds both Crusher
So
and
good
Bio.
try from Crusher and Bio to go for the flank. Hyper was ready for it though, they were ready for the flank, so I mean I wouldn't expect someone to be holding this angle,
And he's
so
laying on the floor. The strategy 101. BC looking for anybody walking down into the site. Might be a Nitro Cell heading his way in just a moment. But no. It's hot and cold to find 2 players. Alright. Dark Zero just
Then everyone on
absolutely
DZ just plays
demolishes
passive, holds angle, and holds the angles, and just waits for
Is
the enemy
this
to push.
The Pro League game with the most flawless rounds ever. TSM will attempt to roam outside of that top floor.
Now, top floor defense coming out. So this is something that I don't like from TSM, where if they lose a site once, they normally try and switch to another one. And I'm not sure that just comes down to they only have one setup, so they can only show one thing, which as a team would be bad. Or if they just maybe feel more comfortable somewhere else based off of how the other team is attacking. Either way, I think it's something that they should look into, where they need to be able to show multiple faces for a defense. You can't just now ignore the basement because you lost it. You're gonna have to go back there at some point if you win these next 2 rounds. So you have to have a strategy that can work. Now it's good for not forcing something out. However, you have to. Normally there are normally there are 2 good defensive sites, with a third kind of questionable. Not necessarily questionable, but a third, and we gotta go there, so we gotta go there. So I kind of wish that TSM showed another look downstairs rather than just directly going here, because if they show downstairs, that makes normally the first defense you show is your strongest defense. You start out strong. So with that, it would make me think that TSM thinks that their basement defense is the strongest one they have. And I'm a little questioning as to why they elect to go somewhere else and why not just go here for their first defense to try and turn it from a 2v4 into a 3v4 instead of being a 2v5 now, where yes, they have a chance of losing it, but if they really think, if the basement's their strongest one, then why not try and go there another time, figure out how the enemy attacked, how are we going to change that? Because they lost Merc early. So if Merc had, instead of dying early, been able to rotate around the server so the smoke could continue playing server stairs, that could have changed the entire round. But he died early, and due to that, it kind of just fucked things up. And at least that's the way I see it. So it's I kind of wish they try to show another look for downstairs, because I do think it's the strongest defense. Now, that's also because I don't like defending upstairs personally. But it is what it is, and we just have to see what TSM does.
Or just really stick to it and try to hold on for as long as possible, because I think opening up too many holes in their defense is going to be very easily exploitable right there at DZ.
Yeah, I mean, DZ definitely tried to hold a lot of it, and especially that corner right there where Chief's at. But at the same time, TSM seemed to find a weakness in a lot of time, and also the lack of focus on the backside allowed Crusher to get the plant down multiple times. So we'll see if TSM is going to make the same mistake in terms of letting that backside fall easily. Obviously, you don't want to get pinched, so you do want to make sure that you're guarding the lobby side as much as possible, but you really got to hold both as much as you can. Try and do something to deny them entering, but there is, again, no denial, and again, Thatcher being brought. You can try an impact trick, I suppose. Ooh,
Okay.
Nix with,
Okay.
I don't know if that was even intentional. Ooh,
Okay.
Nix, I suppose. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, so that was a good heads up from Nyx. If you actually go back on here,
Trick, I suppose.
Nyx looks, sees the wall it has no changes to it. Looks again, suddenly there is now a hit hole. So tap fire through.
Okay.
So that was just a good heads up from Nyx. I'd say a little bad luck from Crusher, kind of bad timing, but also kind of he has to know the angles that exist. And he has to know that within 30 seconds somebody can come up here. So it's just one of those, there's no real right answer. It's just kind of, I'd say this comes down more to timing. Nyx was looking there when Crusher was hitting it, and that got Nyx the kill.
It was even intentional. But Crusher, unfortunately,
Has been crushed.
is the one to get smoked.
No, that's big, because that's a smoke down.
That's a double dad joke, by the way. Double pun. Hit him with the old 1-2.
Like Nyx just did.
Yeah.
Nyx obviously has some good sight on the lobby as well. So they're definitely not going to be able to rotate freely. Just a lot of good, again, droning, Jackal, everything they've got here coming out to make sure that TSM not going to sit comfortable anywhere. And the way things are going, could see another flawless round. Although it's going to be hard to pin down the Clash completely without losing anyone. They are not bringing the Capitao at all, interestingly enough, for this push.
Nick's self-droning. Nash has droning. Make all the jokes about that.
Going to be up by the elevator, though, in the corner. Not actually in the elevator, but there's the Clash in the hallway, as you mentioned. Going to be cutting off from the janitor side to make sure they cannot cross easily, but also providing eyesight to have some idea when they're going to open the wall, how they're playing it, if they go for a run out, where they're going to be positioned. And looks like
I'm really hoping that Hyper's holding an active angle to protect this Thermite, because they should really be worried with this Clash just giving information. So there goes the Valkyrie. Ooh, that was a good ban switch coming out from TSM.
Taser with an EMP, but BC takes out Achieved anyways.
This is actually really good from Nyx for using the column as a just as cover, moving around it, just looking. So good on him for that. But then this is also really good from Merc for just recognizing what he can do and that there was a play he could make just by jumping down.
BC just moving on down to not get hit. And now the site is wide on open for Hot and Cold.
So Hot and Cold has the diffuser and he just ran into sight. That's not... I don't think that's good. I think that's a really bad call on him. And yes, it can work at times, but he doesn't know if someone's in closet. He doesn't know. He has no information. And I'm not sure why he elected to do this. Now he does win. He does get the kill, then gets instantly traded. Now that's the diffuser down. So I really disagree with him just running in there like that.
Mark will find one more on Hot and Cold. It's just doing work here for the team. It's a
now Hyper's outside, and I don't know why.
Actually, into 2v1. It's only the Clash left alive. How is she gonna fight? Not for long. Hyper finds the kill. Bio taken away.
To open the wall, how they're playing it.
The smoke got killed early. I'm trying to go through and see exactly how everything happened. The Achieved is over by the skylight.
You can't at least take out the taser with an EMP, but BC takes out Achieved.
Okay, BC kills him. Where is BC?
And looks like Merc actually coming up to back him up.
Where we'd love to have is off edge to stun the Clash and deal.
Okay, so I think Achieved tried to creep from kitchen, and BC on the window just held the angle as there was a drone down there, and just got a free kill off of that. So I think it was a bad call from Achieved for trying to play that aggression. When I mean, if the entire push is coming from the skylight side, then they're gonna have a flank watch. So I really think that was a bad call from Achieved, and he kind of threw away his life there.
You can't at least take out the taser with an EMP, but BC takes out Achieved anyways.
Then Bolo got killed because he wasn't expecting a Thermite to be laying down in the hallway. I wouldn't expect it. And then Merc was killed by someone on the window. I mean, dealing with the windows is a pain in the ass. And then Clash, it's a 2v1, loses the gunfight. Really, TSM just lost bodies early, and that just screwed them over. Because it turned it from a 2v, it turned it from a 5v5 into a 3v5. But now with that, TSM is electing to go upstairs again. I mean, it makes a little bit of sense where they're saying, well, we lost bodies early last time. We can win this so long as we don't play as aggressive, or we make sure we're in cover. And yeah, really just don't lose bodies early, and we can probably win this. Then they're bringing the same lineup coming out, and DZ is bringing the exact same lineup as well. So no changes on either side for that.
4 to that last round and 2 in a previous round. Crusher, however, still struggling a bit, unfortunately. Bio and Bolo as well, not really showing up there as much as they would like. Merc and Achieved, though, as expected, trying to pull their weight. But with the number of flawless rounds that have come out from DZ, of course, the kills are going to be fairly low from TSM. Or is that Bartlett University?
So one thing
Fairly low.
as a maestro, I'm not sure if these things are destructible, but I'm not sure if this is an old glitch that was fixed or how exactly it works, but if I remember correctly, if you put your maestro camera on something destructible, like a destructible wall, then if the wall is destroyed, and I don't mean as in, well, I don't mean as a destructible wall, I mean like if there's a layer on here that can be shot off, if you put your maestro cam on that layer of the wall, then it will be destroyed if the wall is shot. So it's something you have to look out for. I'm not sure if these can be destroyed. Kind of like how some clocks and artworks fall down.
Or is that Bartlett University?
So it may be a little, it may not be the best to put the maestro cam right there.
So much lore to be had.
I don't think the lore digs that deep.
You have no idea how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I actually do.
Okay. Can't argue with that.
Have you provided any proof for those allegations?
Merc took a bullet, not sure how.
Through my safe deposit box. Hold on, let me attack bank and get it.
Well, this might be it here for TSM. Might be able to recover the round. A bit of damage done here. Hot and cold early on.
Wait, Nix, are you?
Well,
So Nix opened this up.
Here for TSM. Might be able to recover the round.
Oh, okay, he's looking at the Valkyrie camera. I thought he was looking at the window. As in, did the defenders open this up?
Big question is, will TSM actually be able to find a way to deal with Dark Zero? Because certainly now, it doesn't really seem to be the case.
I like the angle Nyx is holding. If they can bait him out in the lobby to trying to go for a pick, could be a free kill for Nyx. They just need to go into the lobby, start to act like they're going to put some pressure on the stairs and see if he comes down. Because he was trying to approach last time when Nyx ended up fighting him, right? On the pillar.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way Nyx was dodging using the pillar last time too. That was great. Clash coming around the hallway as you saw there for a second as well. Going to be playing the same position. But now Nyx spotted out in ATM, so they know he's going to be approaching down there.
Continues to check the drone as he goes back on the rappel. This time on the main lobby entrance. He free fires into the same position. Nobody to be found. Hyper is just firing behind Clash. So player is spotted, but Merc actually will dive on in and find the kill on Hyper. It's a great trade here, and Nyx will find Merc. So all the way from distance in the lobby. We'll have to... He free fires into the same position. Nobody to be found. Hyper is just firing.
So Nitro Cell goes out. I'm not sure why the Nitro Cell came out. Oh, no, never mind, I do. Hot and Cold's putting down his Thermite charge. I'm amazed that didn't actually kill. It was probably just a bad Nitro Cell. Then Merc swings out and gets the kill.
Spotted, but Merc actually will dive on in and find the kill on Hyper. It's a great trade here.
Then it's traded by Nyx. Probably was a little bit too happy he got a kill and just kept on running around trying to find a spot to sit or something to do, and just got cut off on the rotations.
We'll have to drop on down and actually fight his way back up to the site. We're at a minute 15 left on the clock, and the wall will be opened up as so far TSM are not bringing anything to stop their opponents from doing so.
Now one thing is it's been 2 minutes, and now the window pressure is coming in for sight. So I think that's a little late. I mean, if you want to apply pressure, just open up the windows. They're always going to be worried about it, especially if they know someone's on rappel.
Man caught or with a mute. Nyx will continue. Drone himself into the lobby.
For being 2 minutes into the round, he probably shouldn't just be in ATMs at this point.
Trying to fire into the Clash, but she just turns around.
Now DZ really has no way to deal with this Clash.
Set on his own here, it's gonna flash away, and unfortunately, this window might actually come back and bite Dark Zero. Depending on how things go later on, Mint's gonna be stopped for just a moment, and
So I like that Bio's not trying to pull out his weapon and go for a fight. He's just playing passively.
Getting aggressive or pulling.
Now I don't like that Nyx at 30 seconds in is checking open area.
You're watching for potential
And I don't.
rotations, but
Now Plant's going down. I really wish that well, one, I wish that Here, let's go back a little bit.
Nice from Bio to not fall into any traps here. They're getting aggressive or pulling out his SPSMG.
So I like that. I think this is the Valkyrie. I think this is the Valkyrie right here. And I like that he's backing up the Clash. But I kind of wish that this Clash, I think this Clash got way too close and needed to, because this is kind of throwing away your life. Now, Achieved, really good job on the refrag there. Now, Nyx, I think, messed up his timing by going into open area. I think he should have been going to go up the stairs a lot quicker, because at that point, would have been possible to... It could have been possible to kill both the Clash and the Valkyrie without losing a body. And, I mean, it's a 3v3, so it's still fair. Now, no drones, no informations, just pre-firing everything. I have no idea how Nyx wins that fight. It's Nyx. No information, sprinting in.
Kill. Mint will be able to find it. No, it just dropped on the floor. Honko will find Bio. The diffuser's not been set just yet. It's been stopped for just a second. Nyx has no clue where his opponents are. He has to rush into the site. The Valkyrie will be eliminated. That's Achieved. Down on the floor.
So Crusher gets hot. There goes the Thermite, as well as the diffuser. With that happening, yeah. So diffuser goes down. So now Nyx has to worry about that. And with BC going down to Bolo, I think that's really what put the nail in the coffin. And then I think the smoke was... I want to see the smoke. Alright, this smoke, this is both good and bad. So he just got the hell out of there. And I can understand that. However, it also... If Bolo lost the fight there, Nyx could get the diffuser and get the bomb down. That could have really been bad. Now, that comes down to just trust in your teammates and kind of okay, if the bomb goes down, we know about it, and I can stop that from happening for the next 5-10 seconds, so you just hide. You save. You hide. So that's just trust between teammates.
Outside the previously reinforced wall, Dark Zero scattered around to try to save it.
Players like Nyx spending all this time in ATMs, like I said, 2 minutes in.
Now, Archives Teller's coming out. I'm a little confused as to why it wasn't a basement defense.
That's just too little, too late.
Just because, I mean, I think basement's a great site here, but maybe TSM just isn't comfortable on them.
Plant attempts down.
And
so actually, Crusher, despite his lack of kills, is definitely better at planting CE.
Okay, Bolo showed Alibi and then ran Cade. I'm not sure what the point of the Cade is. So for the first time this match, the Thatcher can actually be useful. So on round number 10, the Thatcher is actually going to do something. And I really think that if you're only useful 10% of the time, go somewhere else. Because if you can be useful 90% of the time, then that's still a lot better than just losing one round because you don't have a Thatcher. I mean, I really do hate this Thatcher pick, in all honesty. For this round, sure, I mean, there's a Mav in play, but for all the other ones, I've really hated it. But with that, so Valkyrie, Castle, Cade. I'm a little confused about the Cade. I don't really see a point in him on this site, because with how the defense works now, a lot of the sites are just a lot more open, especially Archives Tellers, and you don't really have to thermite anything. It's more just comes down to once you take map control, you can use their rotate holes in the doorways against them. So I don't think that thermite's, in all honesty, 100% necessary here. Now, he is a little bit for opening up upstairs and hatches, but it's more that I don't think you ever... Yeah, I just have to see. I really think that the Cade is not the best pick. Just combined with the Thatcher, neither of them really being the best pick, and both teams should go someone else. Because normally, what I'm talking about is, if you're trying to attack A, well, normally you can get in through this wall. You have this doorway, you have this doorway, so apply enough vertical pressure that you can get in. It doesn't matter if this wall is opened or not, you still have 3 other ways. So little, you don't really need to be. It doesn't matter if there's a Cade on here because it's, yeah, it doesn't really matter if there's a Cade. Then you don't have to worry about hatches because there's a Maverick in play. So Cade on the hatches isn't going to change anything, and then Cade on the walls, well, if it's the walls upstairs, you can get rid of those through the windows. So I don't really see the point in the Cade pick, and with that, I don't see the point in the Thatcher pick. Now maybe it's a lot easier for DZ. They're just saying screw it. We don't want to have to be searching for these Cades. Someone just go Thatcher. We're just going to do this really simple. In all honesty, I don't know. I don't really get the point of the. I don't get either pick. I really don't.
Best they can hope for here is a tie, and 1 point isn't going to do them a whole lot of good when Sonics is all the.
Now, Castle goes down here. Basic reinforcements.
They're going to need some wins to crawl out of this hole, or they're definitely going to be fighting their way through relegation. And
so this castle, the point of it is to kind of hold people from ATMs, cut off angles. The problem is that DZ is bringing BC who can bring breaching charges, the Maverick who can destroy them, and the Zofia who can destroy them, and then someone who can just hit it a couple of times and waste 20-30 seconds but still open it up. So I don't think this armor panel is really doing much, and I would kind of wish it was somewhere else.
unless something changes drastically for the second half of the season, I got to imagine there's a
Back in the Luminosity versus TSM game, it wasn't a Pro League game. It was a qualifier for Raleigh or Relay or however it's pronounced. I can't remember what team did. I think it was TSM did that exact same door, and within 30 seconds it was gone because a Maverick came. So why they're doing the exact same one here, I don't really get, but
I mean, I
just
don't
have to see how
so
it
far.
goes.
I just am saying
so far, but it
Not a big
might
change.
just be the format that doesn't really work for them here. This is something that you iron out in time. Bojoman has definitely been pretty happy with the
Nyx is
performance.
getting way too aggressive here.
It might just
So
be the format
I always say to just shoot open windows, don't try and hit them open,
that doesn't really work
because
for them.
Nyx is really lucky he didn't get shot here.
Out in
So one, you already know someone's in open area. You then decide to you decide to hit open the door, and you nearly get shot through the wall.
pretty happy with the
Yes, that's not going to do a lot of damage if it hits your body, but if one of those bullets is lucky and hits your head, you're dead. So
team on land, and you
I disagree with his aggression there. And now he's going up to the roof, at which point, why did he even open up the open area?
how do you prepare against Dark Zero though?
well, I mean, he's been playing with the team for so long. He should be able to provide something. I mean, come on. You got to know something about your teammates from that long. I mean, I'm sure he did more than make YouTube videos occasionally.
When's the next one coming out?
I don't know. This is important. I wish we could type in the chat and ask.
You can't.
What?
Can't.
I know. I said I wish we could.
Replace Nitro Cell, I think.
All right. Well, Crusher going to be trying to play in Janitor. BC is actually taking a fair bit of damage.
Is that a thermite charge, or was
I know,
that
I said
a...
I wish we could.
No, okay, that was just soft.
All right. Well, Crusher going to be trying to play in Janitor. BC is actually taking a fair bit of damage on this Thatcher. Vigil actually getting away here. So Merc playing something a little bit different, but Merc's been pretty effective on the Jaeger previously. Now they have
Alright, so I think Merc got out, and so did Crusher. Alright, so good call from them to get out. I mean, you don't have to be fighting for kills up there. You can just get out and you're good. You've done your job. You've wasted a minute. Push is coming in. They're gonna have to be droning you. They're gonna have to be trying to fight you, and you're never gonna be able to fully hold them. So good call to just get out. Now this is bad. Crusher is now opening up the wall, and I'm going to assume it should have already been opened, because I don't see a reason to keep it soft and intact. You either reinforce it or you open it up. Having it soft doesn't help your team at all.
Helping too much, especially now the Jackal's in here to track those footprints. Thankfully, at least it's not the Vigil, but now Achieved is going to be tracked, and Achieved being one of the better fraggers on the team.
Nyx is face checking everything, so no droning going on.
Early kills to slow this down.
A great spot from
Now, why he's applying vertical pressure when he doesn't even know if it's clear or not, I don't get.
Not have the buck. They have the grenades that you were mentioning.
Maybe a call was made exactly at that moment, but
I'd be expecting some more from BC. I'm actually not expecting expecting it. I'm not sure if he still has them, so I'm not sure if we can check BC in just a second, see if he has those breaching charges or not.
Hope he's good at throwing EMPs as he has regular grenades, I imagine. Get used to the thermite there. I mean, there's so many walls you could be opening as thermite too. It's kind of funny to be opening that one, but if you need, oh, it looks like maybe it got denied or maybe it didn't go off correctly. Hard to say which.
I think it went off, but it deleted the reinforcement instead of actually.
Oh, that's true. There was a reinforcement there, yeah. So no, I think it was a soft wall. They might have just shot it. If they just shoot one shot through the middle of that wall, that would have taken it out.
It was a soft wall. I digress.
Now there goes Bio.
Mental
That's the
guard.
castle. It looks like he just tried to come creeping up the skylight stairs. I don't think that was necessarily a smart play. I mean, there are 30 seconds left. You don't need to be going for a flank in a 5v5 unless you're already in a situation. You need to be able to react to the plant going down. So I think that was a bad call from Bio.
But you hold off now in the rotations, and Hot and Cold will go and plant.
Hot and Cold went for the default plant spot, realized you get shot there, so changed it.
Here, Bolo firing off here with the call in the back.
And that really isn't a default plant spot. There really isn't a default for this site. It's more just plant wherever you can. And so it was good. And so it was good from Hot and Cold for recognizing where he gets shot from and adapting to it.
Pushed off.
Bolo peeks, loses the gunfight achieved. I think went for a flank and got killed as well.
Full dispatchment at least, but now the retake is very difficult.
Bomb goes down. Site is lost. Why Merc is the one in sight and it's not Crusher, I'm not sure about.
TSM will rendezvous with one another last two.
Hot and Cold doesn't get the pick, just gets out. Really good play from him there. Well, not play, but call. Because he has no reason to take this fight. I mean, why change it from a 4v2 into a possible 3v2 because you overstay your welcome? He has no reason to stay. Then he falls back, changes the angle, gets a kill. Now Crusher is... No, not Crusher. Now Merc is left in a 1v4. Gets one. Loses the fight. So, I want to say that this game was kind of... I want to say it was kind of, to a degree, TSM's wake-up call, where they can't just be expected to do the same thing over and over again and have it work. DZ read into how TSM plays this, and they countered. They countered their attacks. They did a very good job of it, and they ended up winning, I think, of the first 4 defensive rounds for Dark Zero, 3 of them were perfect, where they didn't lose a single body. So, it really, it's just something that TSM, they're going to have to work on. They're a relatively new team. They didn't pick up Bolo that long ago, so they're still trying to fit him into the places. So it's just something that the team's going to have to work on. They're going to have to devise new strategies, new looks for their defenses, and they're going to have to make sure they don't go to Bank where they've gone for about 10 times already. I mean, I know TSM loves Bank, but the more you show a map, the more that the enemy teams can adapt to what you do, and it won't really become as strong a map of a map for you anymore. Fuck off, Norden. Then, with that, it's just something they're gonna have to work on. They show that they can win here. They beat Luminosity in the rally qualifiers. Once again, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. So they can definitely win. It's more just they need to be able to adapt to the enemy team adapting. So they're just gonna have to work on it. Now, before I end it, if you are there for Intero, so Intero, he's one of the casters and for some of the qualifiers, he will, for the rally, here, I actually want to pull up that. Yeah, I need just. So for the qualifiers for North America, every region gets a qualifier and there's a host country invite. With that, TSM they're making at worst second in all of these qualifiers. So if they win their next match, they go to the Invitational, and then they're probably gonna get invited because it's TSM. They have a really big fan base. But with that, you have all these qualifiers. I mean, you have Reciprocity, Leftovers, who are a group of old pros, Crazy, Adam, Jarvis, Brian, Trippin. You had Rise Nation, the Sonics, Reciprocity, Space Station, Luminosity. So you have a lot of different teams coming in here. It's old pros, current teams, and some of these videos are getting streamed. And so with that, Intero, he did the TSM versus Luminosity game, and he also did the Luminosity versus Shrug. Now, if I go over here, the reason why I think this is actually kind of cool is well, I think it's cool because he is doing it with a lot of different pros, where it's not just him casting it like he does for Pro League. This is closer to more of an analyst and kind of like a VOD review, just talking about what's happening rather than actually saying, Merc goes big with 3 kills or something. No, it's more just analyzing, okay, what are they doing right, what are they doing wrong, and just what kind of do they have to adapt, what do they not have to adapt. And they have Canadian from Evil Geniuses, Dizzle from the coach of Fnatic, Easily from Rogue, Gotcha, the coach of Evil Geniuses, Intero, I mean, it's his stream, Redeemer from Space Station, and Slashhug from Rogue. So there's a lot of insight from pros coming out here, and it's honestly it's just a fun thing to watch, at least in my opinion. So if you're interested in it, go take a look. I mean, there's not a paywall or anything, so may as well if you want to. And with that, I just want to let you know about that. And so I hope you learned something with that. And if you have any questions, let me know. And with that, I'm going to end it.